Jim Rutherford has resigned as the general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I have a few theories on maybe why this has taken place. Bear in mind that he does have an interview in a few hours at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in America with Mark Madden, which I don't think we'll get many answers on. It'll probably just be more a cavalcade of what happened during your tenure here. But let's run through some reasons why. Also have 2 videos coming out very shortly, which is his 5 worst moves and his 5 best moves. After all, though, the guy won 2 cups here, so there's definitely some good things that he did. It was just an oxymoron of a general manager. I feel like he just contradicted himself the whole way through. Before we get started on the reasons why he may have quit, we gotta do this one quickly. Let's pour one out for our fallen homies. It has to be done. Well, people are onto something. It's a good candy. It's a solid candy, the Werthers. All right, that'll be the one old-timey joke that I'll make. I mean, I'll respect the 71-year-old multi-millionaire. Let's jump in. There's a few reasons. So I did a lot of research for this video. It's taken about 12 hours. I mean, obviously I had work in between. I woke up to this news. It was shocking to myself. And I think it surprised a lot of people. It surprised a lot of the insiders, not just to the Penguins, on the outside as well. And I've noticed that a lot of them have taken interviews. Bob Airy was on a show, I'm not sure, it was something PM, and I listened to it. And there was nothing on the reason why I was fired. A few of the big journalists have been on a few things. They really just went like it was a surprise, didn't really talk about it, and moved on from there. Bear in mind, these are a lot of the same people that defended him a lot when it comes to Jack Johnson, things like that, so they may actually know the story but aren't revealing it, or they legitimately don't know. It's one of those things. I think there's a few different reasons why he may have left, and it may be a combination of them. So let's start behind an easier one that I think I can nullify pretty quickly. One is that his contract ends in June. Obviously, it would be extended if the season went on a little bit further. And the negotiation talks weren't going well. I don't think Rutherford's a lot of things. I think he's a man of his word above all else. That's the general vibe that I get from anyone that talks about him. Anyone that has had any dealings with him, both in Carolina and here, is that if he said that he was going to finish up to the end of this contract, then that's what he would do. I don't think without any other circumstance, I don't think if it was just the negotiations weren't going well, so he's quitting, is a valid point. Unless I get to the next point. He already has another job. This I would give a little bit more credence to than just his contract stop and he may retire. He also may retire, but I think that will be for other reasons, not this. I mean, I wouldn't be 100% surprised if Bowman's out and he's in Chicago. I really wouldn't. There's a few places I could see him going, and he may have a deal already worked out for next year. Penguins got wind on it. They don't want him sort of around the team for their draft strategy going forward. He wasn't going to be in all the meetings, so he said, well, I might as well quit. I don't give too much credence to this idea just because of a quote that he said to the Post-Gazette. I'm not sure if he said it to other people, but I saw it on the Post-Gazette, so I'm just going to say the Post-Gazette. I will cite them. He said, I was only going to stay here for 2 or 3 years when I came out of retirement. I'm at my 7th year. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And on my 7th year, I must have fallen out of favor with the organization. That says to me that that something has sparked this. Point number 3, this is where I start to get into the territory of where I think that this is quite believable, is that he wanted to do a trade that ownership or someone around him vetoed. Bear in mind, this is a guy that just gave an interview to The Athletic a few days ago, 6 days ago, about what to do for the rest of the season, what his plans were, whether it was to make a decision now on a trade or wait 20 games to see where the season's at, but it might be too late. And that if you've got a subscription to The Athletic, it's linked down below. I don't want to steal what the article's all about, but I know it's a paywall, but got to be a little bit ethical here. So I mean that could be it. I would see him seeing the end of his contract, and I said that before. And again, there's a little bit opinionated what I'm saying here, but I would see him for seeing out the rest of his contract, as long as he could do it on his own terms. I do believe that he would be someone that would need to run a team a certain way, or else you might as well get rid of me. He did say it's his own decision and kept reiterating that it's his own decision, which makes me think that it probably wasn't. It was probably a mutual split, and the CEO of the Penguins also mentioned that it was quite a mutual walking away. Yeah, I do think it could have been something that there was a big trade on the horizon. It could have been one of the stars. I mean, they all have no movement clauses, but you never know. He may have been trying to ask one of them if they can, maybe waive that, or asking ownership if he can sort of have that conversation, and he was like, no. It could be trading away first round draft picks in the future, and they've said, no, we need to start to look for a rebuild. And he's gone, well, hang on a minute, I'm going to try one last kick the can here this year to win a cup. And they've gone, well, you've had enough chances to be able to do that. We mortgaged off our last 2 first-round picks. We're not going to go any further ones, because they don't have their first at the end of this year. So maybe they're like, well, we're not going to extend you. You can't trade away any first further on. He can't build a team that he wants, so he's out. Then we get to the 4th point. This is where things get pretty funky. Those of you might know, and I'll link it in the description down below, there's a lawsuit with the Pittsburgh Penguins right now in regards to the assistant AHL coach and the AHL coach at the time, and some sexual assault. The lawsuit comes from the Skuld family. They were the assistants at the time, and the report is, or the allegation is that Donatelli, the coach of the AHL team at the time, sexually assaulted and felt up in some very private areas. And I recommend you reading the article. I don't want to go through the whole thing here. Just because it is an older story, and I did cover it before, but you can definitely read up for it. Felt up Skuld's wife, and this is their boss. 7 months later, they brought the report forward. So this is in 2018. About 6 months later, they tried to make it aware to Bill Guerin. He said, keep it quiet, don't tell anyone. We'll sort it out. And outside of Skuld being interviewed, the wife was never interviewed internally. And then they filed a suit late last year, just to get everything moving. In which case the Penguins tried to get rid of that because they filed a motion because the Whistleblower Act is like 180 days or something by state law, and they took 7 months to report it. Yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling. The reason why I bring it up is that there's no way that Rutherford didn't know about this. There's no way that this went to Guerin and didn't go any further. I just can't imagine that he was unaware of this. And if he is, then it's still pretty bad. Like, you need to be able to know that this is going on in your ranks. And Donatella was so the accusation came out in June the 21st. And then June 28th, he quit all of a sudden, unexpectedly, 2 days into development camp for personal reasons. The reason why that might sound familiar to you is that is the exact thing that happened with Rutherford. Exactly. To the T. Surprise, personal reasons, out of the blue. I can't obviously, in good conscience, say that is the reason why he's leaving, but, I mean, you can't not draw a parallel. I don't even need to wear a tinfoil hat here to sort of put those dots together. Which is really disappointing if that is the reason why he's being let go. Not disappointing, it's the right call if he's involved in that at all. If you read the article that I'll link, the TSN one, it's disgusting. So if he's in any way trying to wrap that up and just be like, yeah, just quit, and you can keep your little hockey job and might be able to work for another organization, then yeah, F that guy, I'm glad he quit. This is Rutherford. If he's not involved in that, and Guerin, suppressed that getting to him, which I doubt, and it could be a lighter version of that. It could be that, the Penguins try to implement some new rules in how to, deal with this, and he doesn't agree with it. Could be a whole magnitude of things, but yeah. Anyway, those are the reasons that I thought I'd bring forward. The 4th one has a bit of credence, but will be interesting. He does have an interview with Mark Baden. I don't think we're getting any answers there. But I definitely think another job could be on the horizon, just because he's made a point of saying this was my own decision and I didn't want to retire. It's definitely not family reasons, because I feel like if you just you'd want to just come out and say it, and everyone would understand. There's so many people that have realized during the COVID era, when they get home, is like, oh, hold on a little bit. Like, there's some things more important than what I'm doing. So it did shift a few people's views. And I wouldn't blame him for that, but I also don't think he would hide behind just personal reasons. So yeah. He's also in good health. That was the other thing I didn't mention at the start. He's in good health, so it's not like he's, which is the first thing I thought. I was like, oh my God, he might be in bad health. But no. So yeah, I'm sure we'll find out the real reason in due time. We might never find out the real reason, but yeah. I wanted to lay out what I thought may have been the reasons. It may be a combination of a lot of those things, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I really wouldn't if it was a combination of A, B, and D, and Penguins organisation just went, there's just too many red flags here. There's just too many things that are wrong. So you need to leave. Yeah, and apparently they had meetings on Tuesday, and he still wanted to quit Wednesday. So I don't know if the Penguins were just sort of like, you need to leave and we'll talk about it in the morning, or this is the way we're going to do it, and then he's done it his own way, or yeah, there's 1,000 different scenarios, and you can talk about this for days. So I don't want to speculate too much, but however, those are the conclusions that I have come to, and I'd be curious on yours, so comment down below. If you did like this video and you made it all this way, do hit the like button. It really does help out with the YouTube algorithms that no one seems to understand how that works. I had one video from a year ago that all of a sudden just has 30,000 new views. No one knows why. Hit the subscribe button. I make historic videos about all the teams in the NHL. I review every Penguins game. I do post-pen game, and I like to think I'm a little bit funny. That words joke was a little bit funny. I don't care if you didn't like. You at least exhaled out of your nose. You're like mildly entertaining. And that's what I provide. Mild entertainment. Yeah, comment down below if you have any other theories. Really get the tin foil hat on without throwing mud. Like, let's not throw mud here. But yeah, if you've got something of like tin foil hat, I'm all for it. I'm all for this. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe. The chewy kind's better. I will always say, the chewy Werthers is always better than the solid Werthers. Fun fact, this is for you that lasted to the end of the video. I asked my girlfriend for the solid ones just because it would be funnier. She's never bought a Werther's in her life, so she just bought the chewy ones. Good decision in there. Because it's what I like, it's not what Jim likes. I don't know what I'm going to do with the whole packet of Werther's now. I'm not going to eat all this. Actually, I might.